Well, hello everybody. Yes, believe it or not, it's another week out and about, being busy. And the question I've got for you today, especially being part of the Newpreneur Cast, the weekly podcast show, let me ask you this. When did your first sale ever happen in your business or your role? How did it feel to you when you stepped over that hurdle and got that first sale into your business? And it generated that first piece of revenue for you. How long did it take you to get to that stage? And did you come out the gates really quickly to find it? It's a question we ask a lot of people all the time about when they start off in business in their first year, but also people who are well established. Have you ever stepped back to reflect and going, actually, how did that happen? Did it happen by accident? Or did you plan it? Or did you set up a strategy or a campaign to make lots of phone calls to get that first sale over the ground? It's a good question to ask, isn't it? Well, this week I've got the great pleasure to welcome along a gentleman. I have to stress the word gentleman that I've known for a lot of years, but he's been helping many people over that time. When I first met him in Glasgow at a stage at a Virgin Money, I think it was a Virgin Money actual afternoon, and he's been helping with people with exposing their business the right way with visibility, but also more now, he's been helping people with marketing and automations and helping people drive those sales through their business. Can you please welcome with me today a very good friend in business and outside of business, the one and only Mr. Ian Shapiro of Pramaze. Ian, how are you?
Very well, Lee. Very well. Good to meet you again. Good to meet you again. I know you very well. Good to be here. Thanks for having us on. We do know each other too well. I'm trying to be too formal. It's great to be here. Thank you so much, Lee. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Yeah, it's been a busy week. We've had a lot going on. As always, I say this, Ian. I can't believe it's Friday. Can you?
Not really. No, this week has flown in so many things, and yeah. It's been a brilliant week. But yeah, Friday already, and it's whether you're down tools at the weekend, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work for a 9 to 5, can't believe the weekend's come around again. So
yeah, it comes around far too quick lately, I think. And I was thinking about that yesterday as well. You know, I took a bit of time out in the afternoon, and then I thought, right, okay, it's Friday tomorrow. We've got the Newpreneur Cast happening in the morning, and I'm thinking it only feels like yesterday that I was doing last week's one, and then we're back around to it today already. So, but yeah, all good. So let me ask you this then, Ian, right? And we've had multiple conversations about this, right? When you first started off in your business and your role, it was slightly different for you, wasn't it? When you stepped out in a business as such, what was that business at that time?
So if you're going way back to my very first business, you want to go way back to my very first sale, because you talked about that just in your intro there. So you're making me think first sale feeling. I mean, it feels phenomenal. Don't be wrong, it felt phenomenal. So very first business was actually cocktails. Way back when, out of university, got myself through university by being a bartender. So I knew the trade, and I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I knew that, what do I know best? And I was like, bartending and cocktails. That was my kind of unique spin on it. I knew how to do cocktails. So I did house parties, home parties, and that kind of stuff. So first sale, I wouldn't say was a sale, because I started just doing bartending at friends' parties. You know, you got a birthday party, house party, I would be the man behind the bar that's just kind of like shaking up the cocktails. But when you talk about sales, right, I do remember two spring to mind. It was somebody's 40th birthday, and they hired us. And we were taking it more seriously. I was doing house parties for a while, and it was like, okay, I'll give you 50 quid here and blah, blah, blah. It was like, right, okay, this isn't a business yet. It's like every kind of third Saturday or something. But it was when we started doing kind of wedding shows. So that was one kind of thing we started to get our leads in. But the first big sale was for 3 Mobile. I remember that. And it was like, right, we're taking you for a day. We want a full corporate agenda. We want to get some entertainment. We want some team building, food on, drinks. And I was like, this feels good. Now we're a kind of bona fide business. It felt like, right, and you feel nervous because you're 50 quid to do a wee shift here and there, but then you give them that multiple £1,000 invoice over. It's like, am I charging too much? But it's like at the end of that, when it gets delivered, it's like, there's a real business. It's a real business. And that felt great. So from the first major sale, it was that one. And there was obviously a couple of birthdays that were kind of like stand out. It's just in the sense of great clients and repeat clients. They get us back for every birthday or Christmas or whatever. And you go to the same houses to do house parties, but they take like 4 bartenders. So it was, again, a serious event. So it doesn't. That's going back many years ago, but I can still remember the feeling of that first invoice going out. It was a serious invoice. And you're like, yeah, now we're in business. Now we're going.
That just happened it didn't happen by accident though. You've done a bit of groundwork before then though. So somebody had seen what you've been doing and then made that inquiry with you. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I think back in those days it was relatively organic because I wasn't doing much networking. I did a bit of networking at the Chamber because Chamber back then was like, if you want to network in their town, that's probably where you go to. But it was the house parties led to other house parties, led to bigger parties because one guest at that house party went, oh, I could do a bartender at mine. And it would grow a bit like that. And then the big one, that 3 Mobile one, was, again, somebody was at that nicer house party that had 4 bartenders at it and a bit of flair. And they were like, this would be phenomenal. Let's take this. Because this was before the start of the cocktail masterclass craze, which was obviously pre-pandemic, but every bar in the world now does cocktail classes. So before that trend kind of really took off, and it was like, ooh, cocktail bartending's a bit different. Let's get that along. So it was something to talk about. And it was always the fun thing to talk about. Again, I'm going to go back to, say, networking at the Chamber 15, 20 years ago. It was the fun thing to talk about when you're sitting around accountants and this and that. They all looking at it, suited and booted. And here's me, 20-year-old cocktail bartender. Like, let's talk about something fun. And that got people's ears talking. So that was how it grew. And then, but that, yeah, going back to that, was the first sale, and it was like, yeah, this feels good. This could grow big, you know.
It was digressing slightly because when me and Ian met, right, and it was hilarious because my sister-in-law at the time, she had a 40th birthday party. If you remember, it was something that's coming up, and we thought we never met each other. I recognised his face. This shows and it might be the first sale actually when you said the party before, and then we looked back. And I went, I did meet you because you were actually bartending at my sister-in-law's birthday party, and I thought, it's weird how you just connect the dots eventually, that you see somebody and you think, I know your face from somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably one of those, that was probably the element back then, really.
Yeah. Do you know, I think that was the one, because I remember that one we did, and I scoured the photographs back then to try and find you in amongst it, because again, they were the good parties. I think it was up in Newpreneur direction, and it was a good house party, a great house layout for parties. So we bring in a big bar that looks professional. It's not just this kind of wee wooden table you bring in. It was like the big bars and stuff. And yeah, but I was scouring the photographs to find it because me and you met 10 years before we actually started to meet. So it's a funny coincidence just when we started talking about it. But I realised we didn't come on here to talk about bartending.
No, not at all, not at all. But it's weird how we connect the dots with people who know each other and that they've actually been some way, shape, or form in their journey. But I remember that time, sorry to digress everybody, but literally I jumped behind because I come from a pub background anyway. So I think he must have thought I was the worst person in the world to have this party, that this guy is jumping behind my bar and helping, or trying to help, in other words, as well. Yeah. So you've gone on quite a lot since then though, because you've been involved, still are in the health industry, you're still dealing with individuals on a one-to-one basis. But again, you're actually helping people more now with identifying leads for themselves and having that sort of funnel, if you want to call it, like a funnel through for capturing business opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I am not ashamed to reinvent myself, as you well know, like take on new challenges when you see the opportunity go in one direction. So I have absolutely no qualms about that, but changing direction if the winds change direction things. So yeah, we've moved much more into the software, and I think generating leads, I mean, I've not mastered it, but I'm learning more and more about it, and it's what every business needs. Don't get me wrong, that whether it's landing pages and funnels or giveaways and lead magnets, these kind of things are fundamental to generating the leads, but ultimately giving you the authority to be trusted and people to say, right, you are somebody I want to do business with. So it's not enough just to I've not gone down the advert route like Facebook and Instagram and whatever kind of adverts you might want to do, because you need to get the trust element set up. I believe, you need to get that landing page kind of ready, or at least enough of a kind of like the authority there to then say, you want to work with me. I've got the authority. I've got the experience to deliver what I'm wanting to offer you, and then drive the traffic. Although some arguments say drive the traffic and then figure it out afterwards. So it's like a chicken and egg. Which one do you want to do first? But yeah, I think I see that's where businesses thrive. It's the whole point of networking, to generate leads. Build relationships to generate leads. Don't get me wrong, it's that way around. You need to build relationships. It's what you talk about and what you've taught me over the last few years. The relationships are where your network will spread. And that, going back to the cocktail thing, that's where I found my first few clients, and it expanded. It's who do I know? Who do they know? And the word just distributes that way. So yeah, that's.
But the thing is, it gets me though, Ian, and we've talked about this quite regularly as well. It's great to share this with everybody today who's watching and listening as well, is that, people are looking for leads, because that's what they're looking for in business. They're always looking for like that first sale, that first hurdle to get over. And once they get that first sale, what a lot of people think, they stick with that one sale, and they forget that actually that sale can lead to another one. Yeah. And it's that about that confidence and that trust that people have got in that individual. But that first customer is your raving fan if you do it the right way.
Absolutely. No, it's you've got to focus on customer service. It's like no point in say getting leads, but like when you get a sale specifically, treat them like gold. Absolutely. Customer service, be on hand, do all you can within reason. Obviously, you want to kind of don't want to give away absolutely everybody to the detriment of yourself, but do the best job you can for your clients. Absolutely. So that they go away and say, I paid £100 for whatever it is, but that has saved me 20 hours, or it's got me this much value back. If you give the value, and hopefully we both do, hopefully that's what our clients and connections think when we do it, like we do give value, but you want to go over the top, under promise and over deliver is definitely the kind of mantra to go by, especially if you want the word of mouth to get out there to say, I've had a great experience, check Lee out or check Ian out, work with them. Absolutely. When you go the other way around and you overpromise and underdeliver, you know how you and me both, the first software we did was a reputation management one.
Yeah.
People jump on to give you a bad review like 10 times more than people jump on to give you a good review. You need to actively chase the good reviews and say, if you had a great experience, please, not beg like that, but please give us a review. Make it easy. Because the positive folk are harder to give you that positive review. But negative folk who have a cold dinner or your restaurant's cold, I go back to that example just because we were in hospitality. If things are bad, you're straight on it. TripAdvisor, you're just going to give that bad review because it's like, oh, that was crap, I'm not going to go back there.
Yeah. But
you want to really encourage and give over provides great service, so that we can kind of roll up and snowball your business to generate more leads.
Well, people are quick to complain but slow to compliment.
Exactly.
That's the phrase I used in the car industry. Sometimes it happened that way, and I share that every week. So it's people are quick to jump on that bad experience in either the restaurant trade or hospitality or anything at all. But once you get that slow, real big, thank you, anything, capitalize on it. Because if you capitalize on it, it will sort of give you your next opportunity in there. There's a thing I'm also just going to mention as well, and we've got, if anyone's watching and listening, you can drop any questions you've got or any sort of thoughts on what me and Ian are chatting about this morning, this week as well. Just drop it into the chat area. And I've just noticed we've got Mark Thowlis with us as well. Got your surname right this time, Mark. We've got Mark Thowlis with us as well. He's based up in Aberdeen with Flux. Good to see you, Mark. Thanks for sharing that. He's also made a comment on there saying, if you're in the right places all of the time, you'll always be there at the right time. Love that.
Absolutely. You've got to be visible, or you're invisible by definition. You've got to be visible in the right places, meeting people, and your reputation.
How did man, we've talked about this, but I want to share this with everybody else. Then, how did you get involved in the automation side of it and lead generate? Because I noticed the t-shirts, all the branding's changing lately as well. And how did you get into that? Because you followed on from the cocktails, you've gone into the reputation management, which is still part of what you do, but then you've now really on the path of this side.
So to give you the kind of bird's eye view of what we did, the cocktail business was great. Then we got busier and busier and busier. Like I say, we caught the wave before the trend of cocktail masterclasses. So we caught the wave and we got too busy to deliver the cocktail classes ourselves. So we ended up being a booking agent, which got us into the software, because we needed a software specifically designed for us to farm out the inquiries to different bartenders or bars around the country. So that got us into the software side while still delivering the cocktail classes. We saw that what would help bars and restaurants more was generating reviews, getting happy customers to leave great reviews. So that's where we got from that software, which was a booking software, into a software that would help generate reviews for clients. And then from the review software, reputation management, we call that, where you manage your online reputation, we basically naturally expanded into the whole marketing side, because getting reviews is one aspect of your marketing. You know, it's great for SEO, getting Google specifically, I'm going to say here, great for SEO in terms of getting your content out there. It gives you great content so you can share it on your social media. It just improves almost everything when people search you online, because 99%, say 99%, a majority are still using Google to search. That's how we are. You know, Bing is trying to make a good comeback at it, and the other ones are there as well. But let's be honest, between America and the UK, it's still Google is king. So there, we focused on helping generate reviews so you're chosen above competitors. But now we see that it takes more than reviews. You know, we takes much more, and we hands up, we do take on another platform that encompasses this, is absolutely robust, a full CRM sales and marketing platform. So it's, when we saw this, and it's just like, you know, this is what businesses need, and we can deliver it at a price that is absolutely affordable compared to the likes of, I won't mention any other brands. We know what other CRM are called. I'll do the BBC thing and just say, you know, other brands are available type thing. You know, it's like, they're all out there.
Yeah.
But it's, when we saw this platform, which is, this is phenomenal. It works great. It's set up right. It does almost everything that a business needs, certainly a small business needs, in one, and it brings it together so you can automate your calendars into your appointment bookings, into following up with email automations and text message marketing, even WhatsApp and the likes. I mean, the latest automation that blows my mind is missed calls. So as a small business, we're often on the tools, shall we say, whether that's in the trades or we're on our Zoom just now. I can't answer my phone. Do I have a secretary waiting in the back? No. But if I don't answer my phone, so the latest automation, which is super exciting, is if I don't answer my phone in 10 seconds, rather than go onto an answer machine, an AI automation is going to pick up. It's going to ask them for their name. It's going to ask for their email address. It's going to ask them the reason they're calling, thank them for their call, and then say, one of the team will get back to you soon. I get a transcript of that call, so I can pick up with it later. And the beauty of that automation is that rather than leaving a voicemail, so if I was the customer, left a voicemail with a company, it's like, I don't know how long that's going to be till they call back. So I'm probably going to search Google as phone the next company, and phone the next company till I speak to somebody. Now, they may or may not realize it's an AI generated voice on the other end of it, but that feels like much more interaction than a voicemail that can be picked up in 2 days' time. Who knows? So that's one automation that's just phenomenal. But automating your customer nurture sequences, emails are still phenomenal in terms of delivery. Text messages are even better, because it's obviously it's 99% of them are read almost immediately. Even if it's read and forgotten, it's still kind of like that little reminder. You know, that's marketing. I think it's giving value, reminding them there, so when they're ready to buy, it's you they think of. That's the point. It's not point of when you send out an email blast, you're going to get, 10% of people are going to sign up. It's not. This is about fundamentally keeping your name in the end of their tongue, just like on the top of their minds when they think, what do I need to do today? Oh, I need that service, that product. Who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to Lee, because maybe I need an introduction to somebody. Who am I going to think of? If Lee, you've been sending emails to people saying, I've connected 40 people this month with another opportunity. If that's the message you're giving out, it's like, right, okay, I'm looking for a bookkeeper. It's like, Lee will know who I speak to. It's like, I'll just get in touch with Lee for that one purpose, to introduce me to somebody that he trusts. Because again, personal recommendations are phenomenal. So that's where we're going.
It's so interesting. I mean, you talk about voicemails. I'm just going to have a laugh because I've just seen Mark put a comment on there as well, which I'll comment on that in a minute. Right? So I've just seen him drop one in there, and I know what he's trying to get at as well, by the way. So I'll share it on the screen with everybody. But I think when you look at it, people actually taking up a text message, really important, right? They will read the text message. There's a massive percentage of people out there now who do not listen to their voicemails, Ian.
Yeah.
They don't listen to their voicemails. And the amount of people that you'll leave a voicemail for never come back to you. It blows my mind at the minute.
Oh, I know.
But again, it's what people think is the sale's going to happen straight away. Oh, Marax, going to send out a massive email to everybody and everyone's going to sign up for it. It doesn't work like that. You've got to be consistent and regular in keeping in touch with people as much as you can.
Yeah.
And it might not be a customer now, but there may be a customer 6 months down the line.
Exactly.
Really important, that one. So just coming on that one that Mark suspension, is can you choose the voice of the voicemail?
You can indeed. Yeah, I think we've got about 40 different voices in there. Sadly, no Scottish ones yet. But
no Geordies? You probably haven't got a Geordie on there.
Probably not. It's more all the kind of neutral based ones. But yeah, you've got male, female, young, old, excitable, and whatever else. You've got lots of different options, but no Scottish ones. However, it does understand Scottish. Oh, but it's hilarious. I mean, I've kind of created a. Sorry?
Easy for you to say.
Easy, I know. Thank goodness. Chipping over my own tongue. But no, it's like I put together a little kind of explanation video of how it works and a little example one. And it doesn't pick me up right the first time, and then I correct it. And it's like, it does work even with a Scottish accent or a Geordie accent. This is the worst it's going to be. It's going to get better every experience. The AI's doing that. It's getting better.
There's a simple phrase that you use on the voicemails. It's just a fairly straightforward hello, good afternoon.
So you dictate the first line. So I've written the first line, and obviously it's just going to be, hi, this is Pramaze. How can I help you today? Something along those lines. And then they'll ask, or maybe the first line is just like, hey, this is Pramaze. Good to hear from you. How can I help?
Yeah.
And then it'll have a conversation, and then literally they'll say, like the example I put on my video, if you go to the website and see it, is I need a plumber. I've got a leak in my bathroom. So it actually comes back and says, oh, that's awful. Sorry to hear you've got a leak. We need to get that sorted as soon as, or something to that effect. So actually it sympathizes or empathizes, whichever word is right there, and has a little bit of conversation, but ultimately it takes the name, the email address, and the reason why they're calling, and just it says, is there anything else I can make a note of, or anything else I can help with? I've seen Mark put some more stuff with it.
He just wants me to say it. He's just wanted me to say it. So anybody's watching and listening, especially as you probably all noticed, I'm actually from Newcastle originally, but I try to tone down my Geordiness as much as I can. It's a bit like the Hulk. The Geordiness comes out at times. So when he's putting something in the chat saying way I, so way I, so way AI, so way.
That's it. Oh, indeed.
But I personally think a Geordie accent would be quite warming and welcoming to people. I don't see Geordiness gets used as much as it should be on voice notes or voicemails. But I can see myself saying, way, hello there. Welcome to Pramaze. I hope you're keeping well. Thank you for your message, and we'll certainly get back to you as quick as we possibly can, man. And that's all you need to say. That's it.
Exactly. That's it. So it's all there, but it's always, I mean, again, this is the worst it's going to be. There's going to be more options and stuff, but it's an exciting time. But everybody needs to adapt. The thing is, I think going back to the fundamentals, like we're talking about, to generate that relationship, consistent emails, consistent text messages, just checking in, not going for the sale every time. It's the same as social posts. And again, I'm not a social media marketer for the reason that I won't guarantee sales or followers, but like the consistency is out there to give value. And I know you're a big one on that one. You're talking about the events you've done, the events that are coming up, and the relationships that are being fostered. It's not like bye. Secure. Like, obviously, you've got that tagline of secure your spot for the next event, but it's not like every post is all about the sale. No, it's about the value. So it's the same in emails and stuff.
That's the big thing, Ian. Though it's like people maybe focus more when we're looking at sales today, right? Everybody's just joined us now. We're looking at that sort of first sale you get over the line, but it's people focus more on the actual business coming through the business, the value that they're offering behind it. Yeah. It's the value that's behind it all. Instead of going straight to the sale, people will buy into the value that they're getting for that. So I think it's really important. So he has to stop doing that in the chat area, by the way. He's a smorgasbord, right? He's got a smorgasbord of different details he wants to put in there, man. But I think it's the somebody mentioned this to me the other day, it was like the lifetime value of your business. And in regards to what we've got now in our fingertips, we've got so much for us to use to really get our value out there to everybody. Yeah. And your value for what you do is different to what I offer in my business. Mm-hmm. The value in my business is actual people talking to one another, those introductions that you want. You know, if you're looking for a bookkeeper, you're looking for an accountant, you're looking for a web developer, you're looking for someone who can give you lead generation, I can pass those people through to you. And you can as well, but predominantly I've become a Rolex for business owners.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at actually the value you're trying to provide with that, and that generates, with that value, generates sales. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Value first. I mean, like we were saying, yeah, value first. Showing what you've done. You know, it's great to show the past wins or the past experiences of your past clients and things. But even the thing is, your introductions are not even sometimes your clients. It's just like, you know, you've spoken to Jimmy last week and he needs to speak to Susan. So you guys need to chat, and that's you're giving value. Neither of them are your customers, but their connections. Because that's, I mean, your business is all based about building relationships, and you get to know how you remember people. I'm not great at remembering everybody I speak to, which is a flaw that I need to fix. But you know, you seem to remember everybody you meet, which is a phenomenal skill to have. And the introductions that you do in that sense. So yeah, it leads on to the value you're showing. You're going to give value when you become a customer because I've given you value without even thinking about it. You know, that is just, it's in your nature. And it's like, I want to work with you, Lee. Not just find a networking group because they're all going to be the same, but it's I want to work with Lee because he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he's delivering value for non-members. So how much more value am I going to get when I become a member, become a client? It's that kind of thing of like going that extra step for clients as well as just connections, or at least being honest.
It's the same as yourself, Ian, though. And, you know, we look at it from a perspective of thinking, okay, you know, once you start that conveyor belt of opportunities and you start having those conveyor belt of conversations, that's what starts to turn into. But you've also got to make sure that people actually understand what you offer.
Yeah.
From that side of it.
Definitely.
So in regards to yours, then, especially where you're at the minute, I mean, the voicemail, the text messaging, that sort of system is just an element of what you offer now.
It is. And that's where, I mean, I don't want to, I always try and say not to overcomplicate it. So I often use my ears more than my mouth. I like to think. I hope I do anyway. And I'll listen to what issues a business or person is having. And not to say I'll always provide a solution that's within the software, but you know, if somebody is like, oh, my leads are all over the place and I don't know what I'm doing, I've got emails here and I've got text messages there and I've got people contacting me through Facebook and Instagram and things. I'm like, well, let's simplify that. You need a CRM to bring that together so you can visualize what you're doing before you get down to the automation side of sending out emails. And we'll get to that quite quickly. It's like, let's get it not on spreadsheets and not through emails and text messages. Let's bring it together so you've got it inside a visual aid and simplify that part first. Or I'll open my ears, like if somebody's saying, you know, it's like, I've got all these processes, I've got my staff there twiddling my thumbs, like, it's like, okay, how's your lead generation working? What value are you giving to bring in at least inquiries? You know, it's like the lead magnet is the word that many people will recognize, I'm sure. But what value are you giving before you're expecting that sale, before you're expecting a client to even have a conversation with you?
Yeah.
You know, how are you generating that? And you're doing very well in terms of picking up the phone and making those connections. That's a great way to generate leads. You know, it's time consuming, but it works. So there's so many different aspects of it. Even people that are just, I've got so many social media accounts. It's like we've got a social media planner within our platform, and we work very, very closely with Emma just now because she does that side, or she'll take care of your social media platforms.
Yeah.
But you know, if you just need time back for scheduling all your posts and things, take that part first, and we'll add on the emails later. You know, once you have all those kind of social posts going out, and there's automations through social platforms that blows your mind as well. So I'm super excited about that.
Do you know, there's an element though of me at the minute, and I might be controversial here with this, but we emphasize a lot on social media. There's a time and there's a place for that to happen. But do you think many people have too much emphasis on their social media? They work too much on it?
Do you know, see, I think two things on this. One, I would say you do need to post on social media to show that you're active, right? So that's just as a kind of absolute baseline, because when somebody looks at your business online and doesn't see a post for the last 6 months or whatever, you think, are they still in business?
Yeah.
That's one thing. So you do need to post for that one reason. But if you're spending half a day to make a post, it's not making the returns. It's not where your value. That's not where the value is going to come from. The social media post for the sake of having a post on there, just to show you're active. Okay, if it does bring in leads, then great stuff. That's working for you. Lean into it. But you need to get more efficient than taking half a day to make a post. But if you can churn out, your week's worth of posts in a couple of hours on a Monday morning, do it. Lean into that, with one of them being about sales, or here's what I actually offer. 90% of your things will say, well, as we're going to be working together, the lead magnet thing that I talk about. If you'd like to learn more about 6 ways to get to network better, or if you'd like to learn more about lead generation, let me know, and I'll send you this free PDF. That's it. There's nothing more to that. They're not asking for a sale. You're just saying, free stuff, or just value, indeed. So personally, if you're spending more than if you're spending a lot of your time for not a lot of return, if you're not seeing sales from your socials, you should not be spending a lot of time on it. You should be actually either outsourcing that so you can spend the time like you are picking up the phone and making connections, or outsourcing it to somebody that will do that for you and probably deliver better value on your posts. Is my mind on that one?
Yeah, there's an element in that one as well. I think we touched on it again, sharing Mark's in the group chat, sharing stuff. Thank you, Mark, for being engaging today as well. We appreciate it. I like the quote you just put in there. I was going to share this with you because what we're talking about now, the value and experience you give and how you make someone feel will always last longer than the actual physical thing you're selling.
Definitely.
100% with that, Mark. That's a great little shout out on that one there. But I think it's in this day and age, and what I've noticed myself over the last few weeks, Ian, right, is that, and you've said that before, that I pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I speak to people. If someone messaged me through a social media post I put out, Lee, I'd love to have a chat with you. Great. Here's my calendar link.
Yeah.
Let's organize a virtual coffee to start with. Let's get a virtual call started with. Let's meet each other on because you can easily do that these days now. And then even afterwards, you could say, let's meet face to face. You've got to have a process into that one. But there's no harm if you send something out and someone showing engagement in it, is just pick up the phone, type in the number, and just speak to them. There's so many people. I'm on a bit of a campaign with this, everybody, as well, is that so many people will just not talk.
Yep.
It's all by
it's the text message and the WhatsApp message feels. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're talking about that before. Sending it out just for consistency.
Yeah, it's good to use.
But that's just for consistency. If you want to actually make the genuine relationship, you need to have a two-way conversation. You need to engage them in a way that they'll reply back with the message. But even then, you're not hearing the intonation or the passion in your voice. Yeah. It's just the message, which can be. I mean, do you know what? What was the phrase? Now I'm just going to say it. There was a great phrase that I've completely forgotten about, but it was 7 words long. The sentence was 7 words long, and depending on where you put the emphasis on which word, changed the entire sentence of the meaning of it. And I cannot remember for the life of me what the sentence was, but it was like, the teacher. I don't know. The teacher stood at the front of I can't remember what the sentence was. It was brilliant.
You'll drop it in the chat area later on in the LinkedIn, right? You'll drop it into there. Yeah.
Because it was like, that person gave value or something, but that person gave value. So that's what it means. That person gave value. So what's it's actually the sentence changes just on how you deliver. I mean, I'm sure Kyle Murta will have these coming out of the year. He'll say, right, that's the phrase you're thinking of, Ian, right now, because I can't. But it's like the emphasis completely changed. So when you put that in a text message, that can be interpreted 7 different ways.
Oh, totally.
Do you know what I mean? But if you delivered it, like you say, pick up the phone and speak to them, then they'll know exactly what they mean, and you can have that relationship. You can see the result, their response. So that's where the relationship gets built. It's like, well, Lee meant that, or Ian meant that. It's like, I can feel the passion, and I know he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. And we're talking about this all today. It's like they're taking a vested interest into you as an individual. It's galvanizing that that confidence and trust. That was confidence and trust combined together, by the way, everybody. It's been a bit of a funny one today, this day. Coming a right funny one today, this week. But it's about the confidence and the trust that we're building into them, and it's about the value, and it's about you as an individual.
Absolutely.
It's about yourself as part of that as well. So Thanks, Ian. So in regards to likes of yourself and Pramaze as well, we talked about, was part of what we spoke about today is the lessons learned, right? But since you started this, not a new venture, but you just literally fell nicely into it, that little sort of adventure flow to where your business, you've gone there for a reason.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest lesson you've learned in the last 6 months? What did you learn from it, of thinking you got the sale, but you didn't? Was there something you learned in that?
Do you know, I think it is probably something we've talked about here is consistency. And it is, at this point, is giving value and listening. I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons. Because because our platform does go in multiple directions, I've kind of needed to help people in different aspects. Like I say, help people understand the CRM part and just understand organizing my clients and leads. What do I need to do? So it's consistent learning, consistency from me as a person and into the business. So consistent learning. I'm constantly on kind of webinars learning more about how to deliver to my clients better.
Yeah.
But it's consistency for me as well. I've got to practice what I preach. And I haven't mastered it. This is why I don't put myself out there as a social media marketer. I will not put myself, I won't say I'll deliver this service for you because I personally haven't mastered it yet. And I don't do Facebook ads or run any adverts for people because I haven't mastered it yet. But I'd love to get down that route because I know that again delivers value, especially on the point in Facebook and Instagram and adverts. The great one is the retargeting as opposed to the initial marketing. Because when you're putting an advert, and I know again, I'm a dangerous man because I know a little bit about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I know this. If you get people engaged with you on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or something, retargeting ads build the revenue quicker than your cold one. Because in the cold adverts you're putting out, right? I want 30 to 40-year-olds in a specific geographic area that like fly fishing, for example.
There's many people in that age group that do like fly fishing. Thanks, everybody.
Well,
Cheers, Ian.
I choose that example because you're literally fishing. You're literally throwing it out to that demographic, and they may
You
be.
don't mean actual fishing. You don't mean fishing.
Oh no, I do. That age group want fly fishing. They go right. They like fly fishing, and these platforms know who likes fly fishing.
Yeah.
But you put that advert out to them, and it's a completely cold audience. But if you kind of get to retarget this, if somebody's been on your website, engaged with you, and they've made that kind of like not a warm introduction, but they're kind of like they're engaged with your page or something, and you retarget to them. It's just like sending that text message or that email. Again, don't expect sales, but if you show up on their feed once every couple of days, it's like, oh, fly fishing. Oh, right, that's the company I need to go to for that. It's just the same as the text message getting sent. It's the same as the consistent email newsletter. Consistency. So know where your audience is and consistency.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest lessons that I've learned or still learning. I mean, that's the thing. You'll never stop learning as an entrepreneur.
I don't think you ever, if you feel like you know everything, you're going to go stationary. I think you've always got to adapt to your environments, and you've always got to be working in that sphere of what you do, your guru area that you want to cover in. But the thing you spoke about there with the fly fishing and fishing and analogy wise is that I love that, the ripple effect, right? It's that if you drop one pebble in the ocean, it's not going to cause much of a ripple.
Yeah.
If you drop boulders and everything in there, it's going to get a ripple effect going on into a pond if you can. And if you keep doing it, you're going to get more ripples that will cross over each other as well. And people get to see it all the time. It's always reminding them. And that's the thing. It's having that ability that once a week or once a day, you can keep dropping stuff in that pebble motion. And somebody sees it. But then they might see it the first time and not think of it. Then they see it the second time. Then the third time they go, I've just had a call this morning, Ian, right? And it was a great call this morning because somebody'd seen me on LinkedIn quite regularly.
Yeah.
But been following me. And then eventually we've organised a chat and we talked a bit further and it opened up the door even further. Yeah. And that just come through from consistency. Now, don't get me wrong. The people I spoke to this week, it might not be a sale. It wasn't about that. It was about the value. It was about chatting with them about where they are. Eventually we might exchange business and we might look at that point. But for me, it's about learning from each other, and it's about that visibility. I talk about quite a lot, like a broken record. It's what you've just mentioned there.
Yeah.
And we talked about, even when I was in car sales, we talk about like the fishing analogy is putting enough bait out there that you eventually get a bite at some point. And sometimes you might catch a big whale. And that big whale comes in. But here's the thing you've got to learn for the big whale is that you get that big bit of business and you're going, great, I've done it. I've made it. that big whale might just disappear after a while, and you've got to
Absolutely.
find more little fish to come in to make up for the big whale.
Yeah.
Anyone's just joined us now and they think we're talking about fish and we're not, right? It's not fish in general. It is sales. And I've done it many times, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
laugh today, you know, I tell you. But so on the last note, if you want to share one big tip of advice that everybody's watching and listening to us today, what would it be from your business, from identifying that sale and bringing it into you from Pramaze? What would you share with them
How to identify a sale, sorry.
to take it over the line, convert it into actual
Yeah.
revenue in your business?
I think, do you know, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but value. It's the only thing. It's like if you're show your value and give value, I think you can do it in two ways. Obviously, showing your value being things like going back to your reviews and your happy experiences of past customers. Show the wins that you've had, because that's the value you have delivered in the past. But then ultimately give value as well. You know, like whether it is a free PDF, whether it is a free webinar, whether it is get people on a Zoom call just to have that conversation and build a relationship. I think it's give and show value is the one thing that will get people across the line. Like you say, the personal relationship. You know, you can buy from big companies that are faceless, or you can buy from people because you trust them and you know you can pick up the phone to them.
Correct.
So there's two people in the world that just like, I don't care what company I go with, I want the cheapest. And when you go down that route, the service level usually mirrors that.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, we can deliver value at a low cost, but if you want the personal service and the experience and the direct relationship, it might cost a little bit more, but you know you can pick up my phone and reach me if my AI voice doesn't pick it up for me.
He's Geordie one, which you'll get this afternoon.
Exactly.
Here's the thing that I did that though, and I would encourage everybody who's watching and listening to this, right, is that go back to your first ever customer.
Yeah.
And ask them about what did they see as the value in you? Mm-hmm. Why did they deal with you in the first place? It wasn't just about the product or service that they were selling, it was about you as the individual. They bought something from you. You know, why did they buy that for? And if they haven't done a testimonial for you, get a testimonial from them. But even if you've got people now, I think testimonials are so powerful to say, showcase what you do well and what you provide. And you've shown me this over the years.
Yeah.
And if you get a great testimonial, put it out in the ether, tell people about it, shout it from the rooftops. But also if you get one that's not what you're expecting, address it, listen to it, adapt to it, and say, okay, what could I have done differently then to take it? And that gives you a different angle to look at.
Oh, definitely.
So important on that one, Ian. Really so important on that one.
I mean, the feedback, people should not shy away from feedback in any shape or form.
No.
You know, you can't, no head in the sand stuff. If you know you're not delivering value and you've got clients that are behind you, do not ignore them. Do not ignore them. You know, pick up the phone or send them, get in touch with them in some way, communicate them in some way to know what you could have done better, fix your business, and then give them values. And like, you know, the easy example is 10% off your next visit if you're a restaurant, or 50% off a pair of shoes if you're a physical product, or, you know, well, I'll do a month's worth of whatever it is, you know, for free because something went wrong with your particular one. That's not my typical service. Make that clear. Like you're the exception to the rule. You know, everybody else is generally happy, but for some reason, you know, the food was cold or the restaurant was, you know, the music was too loud, whatever it is. I keep going back to that analogy because it's a simple one to visualize.
Yeah.
But, you know, something went wrong that was not typical. So, you know, put on your big boy pants and, you know, take it on the chin, say sorry, and give value back.
But here's the other one as well, though, on that, which this is a good way of just bringing this sort of great conversation to an end, actually, this week as well. Ian, thank you so much for being part of it today. And this week is that also the good ones you get in, right? If someone's giving you a great referral, a testimonial, a great video or something, give them something as a thank you to them.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? You could actually give something to, like, from that great review or something that's been given, say, listen, thank you for giving me that. Here's a wee gift, here's something, here's some free advice, here's a little flyer or something. Or you can say to them, give it to one of your connections if you want them to engage with you. Listen, here's a free trial for one of your connections, give it to them, introduce them to me, and I'll give them something for free for maybe a couple of weeks just to try it out. They're like, wow, okay, why not?
Yeah.
It's a two-way street world that we live in. It's a law of abundance and a law of supporting and helping each other, I think, on that side. So
It is. Nobody's in this. I mean, the whole point in the networking like with yourself and stuff. Most entrepreneurs start off solo. You know,
Correct.
small jobs, small businesses. You're either one, maybe two. You're a partnership, but you've not started employees. So you've got to build relationship outside. Like we could spend all our day business as our business at home in this room that you're sat at home, I'm sat at home.
Yeah.
But this could be our business. But it can get lonely quickly if you do that. You've got to get out there and build relationships. You've got to be used to speaking to people. If you're not speaking to people, you know, your skills in speaking to people go down. You know, use it or lose it. Again, going back to the health aspect, which we haven't even touched on. But use it or lose it. You know, if you don't speak to people, you're not going to know how to speak to people, and you're going to come across a bit strange. So it's like, you know, we'll trip over our words like we've already been doing today. So we're practiced, but you know, we're tripping over our words today, and we talk a lot. But it's, you know, use it or lose it. It's get out there and make connections and continue to grow. Otherwise, you won't. Yeah.
Good. Thank you so much, Ian. Thanks so much. And on that point, everybody, that's a good point to actually wrap this weekly call up, actually. So the question really for you all today to think about and take away from today is, what is the value that you're offering to your customers? And have you ever thought about going back to your first client that you actually got over the mark, that first paying customer, that first sale, and ask them, why did they deal with you? And what value did they take away from your business? Really important to think about that. I'd encourage you all to give that a try, actually. That's my challenge for you before next week, is to reach out to your first ever customer and find out why they dealt with you, why they looked at your service, and what would they say to somebody else about what you provided at the time. But also, as one big word that we use today as well, is consistency. Are you being consistent with your message? And have you got a marketing structure and strategy in place that you need to address to? Now, I'd highly recommend everybody, if you get the chance, reach out to this chat with me today. Have a look at his website, pramaze.com. Connect with him on LinkedIn if you can. Share some LinkedIn love on there if you can as well. That's what it's all about. It's not just about making connections. It's about finding out how you can help each other grow your business to the next level. It's just that one sale could be the no-brain changer for you that's in there. So, and Mark's just, and big thank you to Mark Thowlis. Got it right again, Mark. Right. Mark Thowlis, thanks very much for joining us today. And yes, Mark is still dealing with his first customer right now, which is brilliant to see. Absolutely superb. I've got one of my first customers with me as well within my business. I've got probably about 4 or 5 actually that have been with me since the beginning and more. So thanks very much. Listen, everybody, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel on @LeeFosterOfficial. So @LeeFosterOfficial for the YouTube channel. Stay tuned for many more wonderful interviews coming up on the Newpreneur Cast every single week. We've got many weeks up and coming. We've got many guests come along sharing some great insights. And again, any questions you got, please fire them through to me or Ian. We're on here to help you as much as we can. But thank you very much to everybody. Mark Thowlis for joining us. Take care. He's got to stop putting stuff in that. If you're watching LinkedIn, have a look back to see what Mark's putting in there. He's got to stop doing that to me, by the way. Yeah, I'd like to be Robson Green at one point. Thanks for that. Cheers to that there, Mark. So wonderful. A hero of mine. I have to say, he's a hero of mine. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week for the Newpreneur Cast. Have a great week. And remember, keep connected. Ta-da for now. Bye-bye.